Hi everyone! In today's video I will go over the basics of scientific glass blowing. Warning: any attempt at glass working can lead to burns and cuts even with proper preparation and all the necessary safety equipment. Plan accordingly. Even a cursory look at your average chemistry lab will reveal an abundance of different glass vessels, apertures, and devices containing glass components. Nowadays, all of it can be bought. Some things get quite expensive, but in past, chemists often had to make their own glassware. Abundance of cheap, mass-produced glassware reduced or even entirely eliminated glass blowing from education chemists receive during their schooling. Even if mostly unnecessary, I believe such knowledge is good to have. Also, if you didn't have a single glass-blowing class, you were robbed. That shit was fun. The content of this video is a slightly expanded version of such a class I had attended at the start of my education. First item I'll show you how to make is a test tube. To make a test tube, you take a desired length of glass tube, stick the end you wish to seal into the flame, and spin it so it heats evenly and slowly folds in on itself. If you wish a pretty test tube, you will have to spin it for quite some time. If you just want that thing sealed, you can speed up the process by carefully squashing the softened glass against graphite. In either case, you need to thoroughly heat the end once it is closed to ensure the glass fused completely and there will be no leakage. Another important thing to know is where in the flame you should position your workpiece. The hottest part of the flame is at the tip of the blue-colored inner cone of flame. The outer zone is much colder and generally not suitable for glass working. Type of glass used is also very important. For chemistry, borosilicate glass is the norm because of its resistance to thermal shock. This also makes it much easier to work with, because it is significantly less likely to crack. Now that you know how to seal a glass tube, let's move on making ampules. Ampules are a classic way of storing chemicals, medicine, and more. While not as convenient as vials, bottles, and jars, it is extremely reliable. Unlike the before mentioned vessels, once an ampule is closed, nothing is going in or out unless the ampule is cracked. This means its contents can last for a really long time. The archaeologists have uncovered a dove-shaped, sealed perfume bottle from the 1st century that still holds its contents. While I will not claim the liquid inside is the same as it was made, there is visible sediment after all, I would trust World War I iodine tincture ampules with my life. Complete 100% glass seal with no gaps is also why ampules are often used to store nasty stuff like oleum and cesium metal. To make an ampule, you need a glass tube that is sealed on one end. I was using cheapest borosilica test tubes money could buy, and they were perfect for the task. When you're sealing powdered or granulated material, you simply poured it into the sealed test tube, clean the inside, where you'll be closing it, and evenly heat the chosen part of the tube by turning it in the flame. When you see and feel the glass soften enough, it can be easily manipulated. You carefully pull the two ends apart and then heat the point of the ampule to make sure it is sealed. From then on, all that remains is a visual inspection, and if all is as it should be, you have made an ampule. In this one, I sealed a bit of neodymium oxalate I had made from magnets I got from old hard drives. I got 2 videos on it, go watch if you're interested. In the second ampule, I sealed few blobs of metallic silicon. You can see I haven't waited quite long enough and had to heat the neck of the ampule some more. I also unintentionally made this flexible glass fiber. Sealing liquids is a tad more complicated, but still not that hard to pull off as a total beginner. First, you take or make an empty test tube, seal one end, and hit the spot where you wish to pinch it off. When the glass softens up, you carefully pull the two parts, but don't do it all the way. Important thing is that you don't seal the tube just yet. You then wait for it to cool down. Fill it with your liquid of choice. Again, this can be almost anything. If you have something to cool it and use a longer tube, even liquefied gases shouldn't be too difficult, provided the tube is strong enough to withstand the pressure once it heats up. You can use a funnel, a syringe, or just pour in the liquid. The important thing is to make sure the spot where you will seal the ampule is clean. Once you have filled it, you heat the thin part of the ampule and seal it all the way. This ampule contains a solution of potassium permanganate. Finally, this is how you can make a small flask. You take a test tube, heat the sealed end until it softens up, and blow into the open cold end of the tube. Simple as. The size of the flask you can make this way is limited by the thickness of glass you're using. Test tubes are too thin to make big flask because the walls will get too thin too fast, and the flask will either pop when you're inflating it or it will crack during its use or cooling process. The flasks made this way are practical outside of being used as an example of glass blowing. To make something bigger and more useful would require further tools and knowledge I do not have. I hope you liked the video, perhaps found the information useful. Making it was a blast and brought up some fond memories. If you're still with me, please consider subscribing. Only 4.2% of you fine viewers are subscribed, and seeing the number go up does give me some serotonin, which is much appreciated in those trying times. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, stay safe, stay in the shade, and please check some of my other videos. The algorithm didn't like them, but you might.